rise and grind, folks. Guys, I am on the way to an existing maintenance customer. I believe this customer has a gas furnace, relatively newer, under 10 years old. I forgot what we did there before. I think we did a bunch of work with the outside unit, either a capacitor or a contactor, give or take. But guys, I am almost there now. Let's go take a look and I'll see y'all when I get inside. Guys, this customer has a Rheem 80% furnace. And this customer's seen a before and after. This should show you guys how long we've been here. At least 5 years. But let me clear some space out the way. And let's open up this furnace. I'll be right back. Alright guys. This thing is what? It's 2025. This thing is what, 9 years old? It's not bad. This is 100K. Yep, this is a 100,000 BTU Rheem furnace. And what I'm gonna do, you see this filter was replaced last October. And to be honest, based on most filters we see, this looks pretty good after a year, but what is this, 1424? Yep, we're gonna replace this filter in a second. But let's get to our sensors. And I made a video a few days ago with Rheem, getting to their flame sensors. It is a bit tedious, but we're gonna pop the top and we're gonna check out the spark rod and the flame sensor from the top. So let's get to it. And I'll be right back. All right, guys. This is my spark rod. There's a little oxidation, not too bad. And for context, this customer got maintenance done years prior, so this certainly doesn't look as bad as it typically would. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna clean the spark rods and clean the flame sensor. And burners don't look too bad, but let's get to it. I'm just gonna wipe the burners down and clean the sensors. I'll be back. Guys, my inducer port is clean. And also I cleaned my spark igniter and flame sensor. Now guys, I'm pretty sure, not to jinx myself, but it is what it is. At some point, I'm gonna make a lot more videos this winter in regards to troubleshooting spark ignitions. Guys, spark ignition, very similar to hot service ignition. Spark ignition is just a method to ignite your main burners. Troubleshooting spark igniters is relatively simple. On the call for heat, inducer has to run, pressure switch closes. But when it's time for ignition, instead of a glow, you're gonna get a spark. Starting from the board here, you're gonna get a spark that's gonna travel in between these two rods. It's very binary. It's either you're gonna get a spark or you won't. If you don't get a spark, make sure you can trace power back and also follow the order of operations to make sure you know for sure that it's time for the spark igniter to start sparking. You can't troubleshoot this unless the previous steps are already working. Make sure your inducer is running. Make sure your pressure switch is closed. But if you're getting a spark and it's still not sparking, make sure you're doing what I'm doing here. Check to make sure nothing's broken, and or make sure there's no corrosion in between these two rods here. Unlike oil, with spark igniters, you don't have to space these apart or move them closer. This is non-adjustable. The only thing you can do here is inspect them and clean them, and or replace your spark igniter if the condition is too bad or if it's not working. First things first, before diagnosing spark igniters, it's important to follow the order of operations, because once again, the spark igniter is not the first thing that turns on if you turn your thermostat on. But guys, understanding controls comes in handy in a pinch, especially on a no heat call. It takes you half the time to diagnose this versus you looking at this for the first time and thinking just because it's not sparking that is bad. No, the spark igniter sparks when it needs to, but that's not the first order operation here that you have to follow. But moving along here, guys, I'm gonna put this back in. Burners are good. And that capacitor got replaced, both of them. The blower run cap and the dual cap outside. But let me put the sensors and the spark rod back in. I'll be right back. Guys, here's another tech tip. When you clean or check flame sensors and spark igniters, make sure you avoid touching them with your bare hands. Always handle each one by the porcelain. If you didn't know this, now you do. If you handle flame sensors with your bare hands, the oils from your hand could accidentally coat the flame sensor and the spark rods, reducing its sensitivity. And now, if the oil from your hands gets on the flame sensor and spark rod, the customer is going to have intermittent problems. So always be careful, handle everything by the porcelain, especially if they're dirty and you're going to have to clean them good. Just hold them by the porcelain and you're good to go. But all right, guys, let me put this back together and I'll be right back. All right, guys, I'm just testing the burners, make sure everything is nice. And I'm going to go to the truck and get a filter. And I want to show you with the spark. Sometimes even if you hear the spark, it may not ignite. And that will lead me to, if this is a no heat call, and I heard the spark but I didn't see it, that will lead me to remove it. That will lead me to remove it and inspect it to make sure it's not dirty or nothing's broken on the spark igniter. But typically if you hear that spark, then that should tell you that the circuit board is sending a spark through the cord straight through to the spark igniter. Alright. One motor turned on. Alright guys, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the truck and put this filter in. I'll be back. Guys, I got my new filter in. She's fired up and she's ready to go. Alright guys, there you have it. Rheem gas furnace, heat maintenance, everything's rocking and rolling. We replaced the filter. We checked and cleaned the spark igniter and flame sensor. We checked the ports on the inducer. And that will be our fan. Alright. There you have it. I got to do the paperwork and I got to head to the next call. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.